Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Aston the Runner Guy here. As I mentioned in previous videos, I was going to have a special guest on, one of Australia's top ultra trail runners. As you now know, it's Sam Burridge, the winner of last year's UTA 50. It was great interviewing Sam, fantastic bloke, very gracious with information and also the time that he gave us. It's quite a good video. I did have a widescreen shot with us both in it, with me introducing Sam, but unfortunately that file's been corrupted somewhere along the line through transfer and editing. So we're going to go straight into the interview. So grab yourself a beverage like myself and sit back and enjoy. Ready? Let's go. Alright Sam, let's start. Let's go back to the beginning. Were you showing ability when you were a kid? Were you one of those kids I used to have to chase around the school oval every year to make the cross-country team, or someone who found running sort of later on in life?
I started running definitely later in life. I didn't really do too much running or anything, or really too many sports while I was at school. So I used to do a bit of skateboarding and that was about it. Then I got into the weightlifting and all that for a good probably 10 years or so after school. My running journey started though when my wife and a few of our friends, we booked into one of those Tough Mudder obstacle course races, and I thought, oh geez, I've got to start getting a bit fitter for me to actually be able to finish the course. So yeah, I went out for a run with my manager at the time, who was a lifetime recreational runner, and I think we may have run maybe 5-6 Ks, but I remember I couldn't talk, I was breathing so heavily that whole time. My body was hurting, I was probably sore for a week afterwards, but yeah, after that I got hooked really, so.
Okay mate, so just so the viewers get an idea of your progression as a runner, have you got sort of any times or any distances you can sort of give us as an example of what you were doing when you first started running?
Yeah, probably the best would be, because I've never really been a big road runner, so but probably a good example of progression would be just my park run times. So I've always been on park runs most weeks up until recently. So when I first started, I may have just been cracking the 20-minute mark, where last year when I was training for the mountain running, I was probably the fittest I've ever been and fastest I've ever been at the time, and I hit the sort of mid to low 16s. So. Okay,
yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's quick. Alright mate, so with the road running to the trail running, was there a certain time when you decided to switch to trails? Was that for any particular reason?
Well, I was never completely on the road running, so I only did a couple of races here and there. I just seemed to enjoy the trail running a lot more. I enjoyed sort of the hills, going exploring, sort of just running along, seeing a trail and turning up it and seeing where it ended up. And trail running, I think for me especially, gives you an opportunity to go to different parts of the country or the world and explore places that you wouldn't actually see otherwise. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky here in Canberra with the abundant amount of trails we've got to run in, the mountains we've got to run in, fresh air, a little bit of altitude. We're very lucky.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree.
So before your win last year, 2018, you've done the UTA 4 times previously, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Can you tell us how those races went?
Yeah, definitely. So first time I raced UTA was when it was called the North Face back in 2014, and I booked into that. I think I'd only ever run maybe 30 Ks at most at that stage in all my training, and I booked into it as one of those sort of big goal races, running 50 Ks, and just thought that was huge and it would have been a massive accomplishment, which of course it is. So I ran that in 2014 for the first time. I think I finished in about 6 hours 40 maybe, in around 83rd-ish place, and was absolutely stoked with that. So it was for me it was tough race. I went into some dark places on the hills there, and yeah, didn't know how I was going to finish. And I remember running and seeing like the marker saying 5 Ks to go and thinking, oh geez, I'm going to actually finish this is incredible. And so it got all emotional, and yeah, ran over the finish line, said to my wife I'm never running anything like that again. But I think by the next day I was already planning my next race.
Sure, yeah, we all do that.
Then 2015, I ran again. So I think that year I ended up running about an hour quicker. I started to get a little bit more serious about my running, probably running an extra day or so every week, maybe a little bit longer. Then a couple more local trail runs by that stage as well, so a bit more experience. But I think I ended up running about 5 hours 27 from memory and was maybe 27th, 28th that year. So again, I was stoked. About an hour quicker, so couldn't believe that I've been able to run as fast as that. So,
Sure.
Yeah, so it was another good year. The year after 2016, I'd started to get a lot more serious at that stage. So I think by then I was probably running every day, regular Sunday long runs and sessions and that sort of stuff. So I had a few of the guys who I run with running that year too. So yeah, that year I think I ended up doing about another half hour quicker roughly. So I ended up finishing in 5:01 in 6th place.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that was beyond any expectations. It was amazing. So yeah, had a ball that race. Yeah, so again, really happy with that. I didn't expect to ever get any quicker or better place than that.
Sure. Then 17, was there any reason why you kept coming back to the race?
I think it's almost, for one, it's by participation numbers. It's the biggest race in Australia, so it's always quite competitive. So, and it's one race. It's the same course. Well, meant to be the same course every year, unless the weather changes that. But so you can almost do. For me, it's a bit of a baseline of where I'm at every year. I enjoy it. It's very well run. Lots of people, always competitive. So
they do certainly a fantastic job organising that event.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think it's one of the hardest 50Ks you'll ever do, and probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. So
for sure.
It's sort of from one extreme to another, for sure. Okay, so 2017, how'd that go?
2017, it was actually pouring down in the days leading into that event. So the night before, they made the decision to change the course for the 50K runners. So they actually started us a little bit later, so we got a bit of a sleep in, which was nice. But we actually ran the first half of the 100K course. So we got to go down, you went down the Fuba steps at the end, went over down Narrow Neck, up 6 foot track. So it was good to see a different part of the Blue Mountains. That course probably suited me a little bit better because there was a lot of places where you could open up and run a little bit faster, not as technical. So suited me quite well. And that year was just an unusually super competitive year as well. So I was expecting maybe top 20 if I was lucky that year, but going by all the people who were running, and ended up 4 hours 34 in ninth place.
Yeah, that's fast. A 9 for 4:35, so that goes to show that the depth of field that was there.
I think it was maybe about 15 minutes quicker than the main course, was about the general consensus that year. But yeah, I was really happy with that. Everything felt great. Had a good time. So yeah, another good year. And then,
fantastic. And then the big one, 2018.
Yeah.
Can you just, I guess we'd all like to know if you can break it down, how that race sort of unfolded and what your race strategy was, and did you have to change things up, or just talk us through that one.
Yeah, no worries at all. So at a high level, my race strategy was run the first 28Ks fairly conservatively, still pushing the pace, but not going too hard, making sure I was running my own race and not trying to keep up with all the leaders, because I knew how strong some of those guys are. And then take advantage of my strengths in the second half and really push the hills, especially in that last 15Ks, and hopefully a few people are blown up or I could reel them in there. So I tried to stick with that. The way the race itself panned out was in the first 10 kilometres, which is pretty runnable for most of it, where you go up and down the road and then over through the tracks to the giant staircase. Ran fairly solid through that, but making sure I wasn't sort of redlining or anything. So I think I was maybe in sort of 6th or 7th place going through there, feeling pretty comfortable. through the next sort of 14 k's where you're up and down stairs and through the single track. A few people I think caught me a bit, and then as soon as we got onto the open roads again, I got away from them. But again, sort of just running uncomfortably comfortable, if that makes sense. So yeah, not trying to push it too hard, but the legs still felt really good at that stage. I remember running down into Queen Victoria Hospital checkpoint at 28 k's. There's about 2 k's of road that you run down through there, and I think I was ticking over at maybe 420s, which and the legs felt really good, so I knew I was in for a strong second half at that stage. Leading into that, I was trying to finish off my 2 water bottles so I could fill it up for the, once we went into the valley. And I had a drink of one of my water bottles, and the lid fell off, and I couldn't find that, so I thought, I'll bugger it. I'm just going to run the rest of the race with only 500 mils of water. So I took that bit of a gamble. So I only filled up 1 water bottle at the 28k mark, and hope for the best.
So while we're talking about the water, what's your nutrition strategy out there? I mean, are you the natural bloke who eats the nuts and berries, or are you stuck on the liquidy sugar type go and chase it down with water? What's your strategy?
Definitely the sugary.
Okay.
So most of my races I'll just use the gels. So I'll just take a gel roughly every 40 minutes. Once I hit about the 3-hour mark, I go to every 30 minutes. And I'll try to stick to that pretty religiously throughout the race. And yeah, that's got me through till probably up to 7-hour races. I think if I was going to run anything longer than that, I'd have to change it up and put some real whole foods in there. But at this stage,
just due to the stomach being upset or just not wanting to take in anything sweet anymore, or?
Bit of both.
Okay.
By the end of the sort of 5-6 hour race on just gels, I'm absolutely sick of it.
Sure.
The stomach doesn't feel amazing either, but
yeah. Sometimes it's good to get something solid in there to help it settle down a bit. It's just something simple. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree. And hydration wise, I'll try and start the race off with water with a couple of electrolyte tablets in, and usually after about 3 hours, the stomach doesn't really like that too much, but after that, so I'll just do plain water for the rest of it after that.
Right, yeah. So leaving the Queen Victoria Hospital for that downhill, uphill last section, which is absolutely brutal. I'm already having nightmares thinking about doing it again in 8 weeks' time. But what sort of position were you in then, and what were you sort of thinking?
So going through Queen Victoria Hospital, I got told that I was 6 minutes off the lead and in 6th place.
Right, so 6 minutes do a fair bit of time to make up, so at that stage you're probably thinking maybe top 5 or...
Yeah, I was thinking, because I knew all the guys in front were quite strong runners, so I thought I might be able to pick 1, maybe 2 on if it was going to be a great day, and I was feeling great, pick a couple of them off, but I was, at that stage I thought, 6th, that's pretty amazing, that's equal to my best result here, so if I can at least hold this, it's a great day.
Sure.
So I tried to bomb the 7k downhill, sat maybe 4-minute Ks, which for me going downhill is quite solid, so I'm not the best downhiller.
I'm sure most of us will take the 4-minute pace down the hill.
But after that I knew I really wanted to push the uphills, so I had a strategy in mind where I'd run as much of it as possible, and if my legs were screaming, I'd start power hiking, pick a tree maybe 20 metres ahead, 30 metres ahead, power hike to that, and then continue running. So only get the short walking breaks and just try and push the hills as much as possible.
Sure. It's good to know that even the guy who wins the race does a bit of power hiking as well. Makes us feel a lot better.
I think you have to on hills like that.
Sure.
But I'll just try to keep that to a minimum, and just try pushing quite hard through that sort of last 15k. And then I think maybe the 35-ish k, I caught up to 5th place, and had a quick chat and kept going, and thought, geez, top 5, that's awesome. And then as I kept going, I hit 4th place, then 3rd place, and...
Is there any sort of chatter or tap on the bum as you go past them and tell them to, hang in there and hopefully you finish, or...
Yeah, had a quick chat. So sort of, g'day, how you going, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Didn't say too much. I tried to sort of, when I passed most people, just try...
Tell them how ordinary they're looking and move on.
Not tell them, but just try and make myself
look like Superman.
Super fresh.
Yeah, that's right.
Up tall, be really chirpy, that sort of thing.
Sure, Don't give away all your secrets,
exactly.
mate.
But, so... just with the hope that they wouldn't...
try to come with you, yes.
Exactly. So, so I think at about, where is it, the sewage works plan, which is about the 44k mark.
Sure.
Which was the last actual checkpoint and timing checkpoint. So at that stage I was in 3rd place, and apparently I got told later that I was 3 minutes behind the lead.
Okay.
At that stage. So I knew I was 3rd, but I didn't know how far 2nd and 1st were. And then climbing out of there to Lura Forest, I caught 2nd place. I was thinking, geez, this is amazing. 2nd in this race.
Sure.
I just assumed 1st place was close to the finish by that stage.
Yep.
Thought, this is absolutely amazing. Completely surpassing expectations.
Sure.
So, overtook him, kept going. I saw Madge in Lura Forest, who was the roving
interviewer, I think I saw that somewhere on a channel or internet. Saw it somewhere. That was great.
So I was probably quite rude with him, 1-word answers at that stage. I didn't really feel like talking too much.
Sure, well, he does a lot of talking, so that's fine.
And that was great. It's sort of a bit of entertainment for the run, took your mind off.
Yeah, it was good for us too to actually see you actually out there, during the final, closing kilometres of a race.
Yeah.
So no, that was great.
Yeah. So ran through there. At that stage, I was feeling great, and I was just pumped up on adrenaline. I felt like I was flying through there, and came around the corner with, I think, maybe 3k's to go.
Okay.
And there was a slight rise, and I saw Mick in 1st place, just at the top. And I thought, I've got to give it a go. I'm still feeling amazing, so I ran up past next to him, said g'day, had a quick chat, and then just pretty much ran for my life after that. So I know how strong he is.
Sure. So how far did you have to go when you caught up to Mick?
3k's.
3k's to go. Okay,
so
right. Yeah.
2k's of sort of single track.
Sure.
And then,
was there any response
from me?
Yeah.
He said a couple of 1-word answers. So,
but he didn't try to come with you?
No, I assumed he would have been pretty close.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't want to look back. I tried to have a thing where I'd just look forward and not look back at all. And just try and stay within myself and
fantastic.
Not to get too worried. So I felt like I was flying there.
Okay.
So I don't know what pace or whatever, but I just felt like I was absolutely flying, just running on adrenaline.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I thought if I can get to the Fuba steps first, I should have a pretty good chance, because I knew I was quite strong, still feeling quite good, and climbing's more of my forte. So dragged myself up them as quick as possible, which was like 15 minutes. So
for sure.
Final K, and it was just amazing coming out of the top of them and into the finishing chute.
Sure. So, I was going to ask you that. I mean, obviously, when you come around that corner to that incredible atmosphere that the UTA is famous for, with that crowd and they're announcing your name and seeing that finishing tape in front of you, and also having your new child there, Elijah, and your beautiful wife, Carlia, I mean, for them to be there to experience that must have been an incredible feeling. So was it just amazing? You must have thought, this is incredible, is this really happening? Yeah,
it was just surreal, because I just, didn't expect it. It was just, perfect day out there for me. So running around up through the little walkway and up those final 5 stairs into the finishing chute, which I'm sure everyone absolutely hates. But I had someone run out and give me the Australian flag, so I came down through the finish line.
Fantastic.
And it's just amazing. Carly and Eli were waiting at the finish line for me, so they didn't expect that I was going to be in first, because as I said earlier, the last live update I was in 3rd place and still a good few minutes off first.
Sure,
so I think it was a bit of a surprise me coming through at that stage, but absolutely amazing.
Fantastic.
Great day.
Right, just moving back a bit to your food, what do you generally eat the night before, and also what do you eat the morning of a race day? Well, let's just use UTA.
Yeah, no worries. The night before, I generally just try and have a pasta, so just high carb, something I enjoy as well, so it's probably one of my regular meals.
Okay, just a plain old pasta, or?
Oh, usually spag bowl, just
Sure.
it's easy to make as well.
Yeah.
Don't want to stress too much the night before.
Yeah, sure. Do you eat a balanced diet, a little bit of everything? There's not, obviously in bolognese you're not vegan unless it's that vegan type meat substitute, or?
No, just try and do a fairly balanced diet. Try and eat healthy most of the time, so still enjoy my chocolate and that sort of stuff.
So you eat a bit of everything, you'll eat dairy, you eat the meat, and sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Whatever's going, really.
Okay.
So just always try and eat that the night before. Usually have a bit of ice cream as well, just because I enjoy it. And the extra carbs is the excuse I get. Then the morning of, I try and get up probably an hour and a half, 2 hours before the race start, and just have my usual breakfast, which is just quick oats, so just porridge and. So
just plain porridge, no additives, no bananas or anything to bulk it up? Or?
I do a scoop of chocolate protein powder, so, just because I enjoy chocolate flavours. So so I'll just try and keep it the same. So the same
strong coffee or?
No, I don't drink coffee at all.
Okay.
So I drink green tea, but I probably wouldn't have that before a race. I'll just try and have plain water as much as possible. So just so I can start the race fairly hydrated.
Fantastic.
But apart from that, just try and do the same thing that I usually do every morning, so don't change anything up too much for race day. Okay,
excellent. Okay, so with 8 weeks to go, as of today when we're shooting this video, you have to defend your title. Any more pressure on yourself? And going back as the champion, is there a little bit more pressure maybe that you've heard of from outside, or that you put on yourself, or any expectations, or you sort of go about it as you did last year and run your own race and see what happens?
I don't know about outside pressure, so I'm sure people will always put that onto you. I hate that. Personally, I hate having the pressure. I try not to think about it too much, but also I'm not going in there to have the main goal of winning again. I just try and go there and make sure that I run a race that I'm happy with. So ideally I'd like to run quicker than last year.
Sure.
Whatever place that gets me. I can't control what other people do. So as long as I can run a race that I'm happy with at the end of the day, then I'll be stoked.
Yeah, definitely. Good answer. That pretty much goes for us all, doesn't it? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Exactly.
So since your win in the UTA last year, you've obviously nailed some pretty strong performances. I won't list them all, but you're fairly consistent when you race. One of those highlights must have been representing Australia overseas in the Spanish Highlands there in the World Mountain Running Championships. You probably would have seen firsthand how fast those guys go up those mountains. It's pretty incredible. Can you talk us through that experience?
Yeah, definitely. That was just absolutely amazing. It was an absolute honour to run for Australia there. Something I never would have ever imagined would have happened. So I think a couple of guys I regularly run with have been on that team in previous years. So they encouraged me to try out in the Australian Championships last year, which was a couple of months before UTA.
Okay.
And it was actually, the race was down in Hobart, running up Mount Wellington there. So it was up the trails as well, so short and steep, about 10 k's with 1,100-1,200 elevation gains.
Okay,
so,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, quite a tough. It was a different sort of race than I've ever raced before. I usually do the longer stuff, so but that was awesome. Absolutely loved it, and I was lucky enough to come away with 4th that day.
Sure.
So I had a pretty good idea that I'd make the team after that. So unofficially I heard a few weeks after that, but officially it was announced just after UTA. So from there I focused my next 3 months training on the World Championships.
Okay.
So that was in September last year. And that was just an absolutely incredible experience. So the level of guys over there, I knew it was going to be strong, but it just blew me away. So I think I ended up 80th place and first Australian. So I was pretty stoked with that.
Sure.
And
that was set like in a ski village type?
Yeah, so it was set in a little place called Canillo in Andorra. So it's like a little village on the main highway with just monstrous mountains either side.
Okay.
So just absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. It beautiful little place.
Sure.
So,
And a bit of altitude, I guess?
yeah, so the town itself was sitting at about 1,500, and we finished the race at, I think, about 2,600. So,
Okay.
yeah, which is a few hundred metres higher than the highest point in Australia. Up in
Yeah,
Cosy.
about 300 or 400 metres higher than Cosy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. So yeah, and did you notice that attitude when you're really hurting towards the end of that race?
Definitely,
Okay,
definitely. So
sure.
I think I was pretty good up until about the 2,000 metre mark, and then after that, maybe 2,200, and then after that, I just, because I haven't had too much exposure to altitude,
Sure.
it just felt that I didn't have another gear, while
Sure.
the whole body felt fine. It just,
Yeah.
it was almost like I just couldn't get in enough breath or enough
Sure.
oxygen to
Yeah, like sucking
enable
through
me
a
to
straw.
really push.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay.
the last few Ks was quite tough.
Sure, I bet.
But yeah, I was really happy. I crossed the line and collapsed pretty much. I
Sure.
put everything into that.
Sure,
So
sure.
couldn't have done anything better on the day.
Yeah, fantastic. No, great work. So Carly and yourself became parents for the first time in the months leading into UTA. Generally, you think that would upset your training, but clearly it didn't for you. Maybe a few sleepless nights and tired early morning runs.
Definitely.
How do you enjoy being a father and a dad?
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So my little boy is actually 18 months old now, or just shy, and he's awesome. So I love to spend every spare minute I can with him. I take him out in the chariot for jogs, which he enjoys. He's happy generally if he's outside. So
Sure.
yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome.
Fantastic, fantastic. So besides obviously defending your title in 8 weeks, what else is on the horizon for Sam Burridge as a runner?
So a couple of months after UTA, in early July, I'm actually an ambassador for a new race up in Brisbane called the Brisbane Trail Ultra.
Okay.
Yeah, that just looks like a really cool race. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's running through the Brisbane hinterland and finishing at Southbank there. So I'm actually running the 60-kilometre race there. So yeah, that should be really cool. They've also got a 110k, 100 miler for the crazy people, and a 30k event. So something for everyone. So that'll be a really good one. I'm keen for that. Then I think I'll take a bit of a break. So just a few 2-3 weeks of just cruising, running, just trying to recover after a bigger few months training. And I think after that I might train up for a 10k road race. It's the Canberra Times 10k maybe.
Okay,
but,
sure.
I want to focus on the Bright Four Peaks race at the
Sure.
start of November after that. So
Yep.
yeah, I've always wanted to do it. So
Yeah, you'll certainly do well down there. Yeah, and doing it, you know,
hopefully.
a climb each day for consecutive days. It's a great idea, isn't it?
Oh, sounds awesome. I don't know how I'll go on the stage race, but
Sure.
usually I have one race one day and then just recover after that.
Sure.
But,
Something different, isn't it?
Should be great.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, mate. All the best for your UTA defence and
thank you very
all
much.
the other races you've got actually coming up. And thank you very much for giving me your time away from your family on a Sunday.
Yeah, thank you
And,
very much. It's been fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. I'll see you in 8 weeks, Sam.
Cheers. Thanks, Aston.
All right, mate. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Lots of information there for you to absorb from Sam. Lots of really good things to put into your own training, your own preparation. For all the runners that are doing the UTA of any distance, I hope your training's going well and I hope you guys have a fantastic race. Tom and Alina do a magic job up there. Also, do what Sam's done and subscribe to the channel. Push the little bell, that way you actually get notification of the next up and coming video. Like and share. Till next time, thanks, bye.